See, here's the thing. You're supposed to get married down here, and then you go live eternally with your wife. I don't have a wife. I don't know if I want to go to the other side and live eternally single. This nightmare we're never going to end, right? So I'm going to have to be sent back here to get married.
Maybe God will put us together to do Torah.
Oh God, man, I'm out of here. I'm so out of here. Oh boy.
I'll do news, weather, and sports in heaven.
No. I'll make fun of everybody else in heaven.
Talk about the angels.
I'll make fun of everybody in heaven. That's what I'll do. No, but I'm 95% sure I'm coming back, because I have to get a wife before I go back. So before I go to the other side, I have to have a wife. And I'm not going to have it in this lifetime, so there's got to be at least one more lifetime.
So does Judaism believe in reincarnation?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So will you come back as a beetle, or?
No.
You'll come back as a human being?
I'll come back as a Jew.
As a Jew?
I'll come back as a Jew, and I'm going to have to pick up a wife. Otherwise, I'm not going to get back in. That's the way I see it. Mm-hmm. Plus the fact that if based on the limited things that I've done, the few mitzvahs and stuff that I still do today, if they would let me in, then I'm questioning the standards of the guys at the gates. That's what. Wow, don't you need like clubs at least have a guy out there and go like, come on, you're on the list. If they let me into the heaven based on my resume, I have to believe the standards are higher. You ready to tackle on?
Yeah. So this week's Torah portion, we got two, Nitzavim and another one.
Vayelech.
Yeah. So anything you.
Well, first of all, I want to say there was a carryover from last week. We were talking about the parsha.
Milk and honey.
Milk and honey, because last week you said we were talking about the land of milk and honey, and I wanted to say that I looked it up, and yeah, the milk is not
goat's milk.
It's not almond milk. It's
goat's milk.
It's cow or goat's milk.
And the honey is dates honey.
Yeah, we had that right, but for some reason my brain got fried and I thought it was almond milk. So I looked it up and you were right, it's not that. So I just want to let you know that you were right on that.
Awesome. Okay,
so this week we have a double parsha, and one of the parshas, it's Nitzavim, which Levi mentioned. And I just want to say that it's always the parsha that's read before Rosh Hashanah. Always. Every Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah, we will read Nitzavim. Whether we read it with the Vayelech or not depends on the way the calendar plays out.
Yeah.
Like how many Shabbos do you have in
depends whether you're in the diaspora or in Israel.
No. It depends how many Shabbos in Tishrei you have.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So, it's complicated, but
so even in Israel they have two Torah portions?
I believe so.
Oh, whoops.
No?
Well, you'd know better than me.
Well, see, the thing is, the following week, I believe that Yom Kippur is on Shabbos. So we don't have a Torah reading that week. And then the Shabbos between Yom Kippur... I have to look at the calendar. I have to look at the calendar to see how this work plays out. But I know Hazin was in there somewhere. Is that right? I have to look at the calendar. Anyways, it's a double parsha. Don't quote me on anything because I don't know what I'm talking. I need to look at the calendar. So what's the connection? Why isn't it Nitzavim right before Rosh Hashanah?
Why?
Good question. Let's look at the opening verse. What's the opening verse?
You are standing today, all of you, before Hashem your God, the heads of your tribes, your elders and your officers, all the men of Israel, your small children, your women, your proselyte who is in the midst of your camp, from the hewer of your wood to the drawer of your water. All
right, so basically, thank you for reading that. You're standing today, all of you, before God. That's what you read, right?
Yeah.
So the Jewish people are standing before God in judgment that takes place on Rosh Hashanah, which is the day of judgment. So you see that there's a connection that, just like in the parsha, starts off with you're standing today. So Rosh Hashanah is the time when we're standing in judgment on the day of judgment. So this is the standing in front of God parsha. So therefore it's right before Rosh Hashanah. The parsha continues. Go to 30:19, please.
Sure. In chapter 30, verse 9, we learn an eternal lesson. I call heaven and earth today to bear witness against you. I place life and death before you, blessing and curse. You shall choose life so that you will live, you and your offspring.
All right, very good. So it's brought down that on Rosh Hashanah, so God opens what? He opens the book of life, of good life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other book, which is the opposite, and he writes names into both. That's what happens on Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what did you just read? I place before you good and bad. And
blessing and curse, life and death, and you shall choose life so that you will live.
Right. That is exactly what happens on Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah.
On Rosh Hashanah is when it's going to be decided: are you going to live? Or are you going to die?
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be rich. You're going to be poor.
Yeah.
All of these things, just like it says here, when putting these in front of you, it's going to be in front of God on Rosh Hashanah, right? And we say in Rosh Hashanah the three things that we do will cause us to be written into the good book. What are the three? Do you know them? There's three, and they're all with a T.
Tshuva,
right?
Tzedakah,
Yeah. Tefillah.
Tefillah.
Right.
Yeah,
So giving charity, doing atonement, and praying, right? Those are the three things that will help you get written into the book of good life. By doing those three, we can even cause a terrible decree that was set up against us, such as being written into the other book, and you can turn it around. You can go into the book of life just by giving more money. So if you gave money to me, let's say, you could get a better chance of getting a good life.
I'll have to think about that.
Yeah. It's a good investment, huh? So now over here it says choose life. Right? So we're saying we want to be written into the book of good life, right? So God says, I place before you life and death, choose life.
Yeah.
And over here we say we have a book of good life, and if you do tshuva, tefillah, and give tzedakah, you can get that life that it says in the pasuk. That's what it says. Because you can be written into the book of good life on Rosh Hashanah. So when we read Parshas Nitzavim this week, it's a reminder for us that we're standing in judgment, that we're standing in front of God, that He has these books open, and we should demand to be written into the book of life, of good life. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that we should, do whatever it takes. We should do tshuva and tzedakah and tefillah. We should all be written in for the good, and we should merit to be blessed for a sweet and prosperous year. And that is my vort.
Okay, so I've just a handful of
Even the
thoughts.
Lakewood Rav.
Yeah, even Lakewood Rabbs should be written in. What I like about this week's parsha in chapter 29, verse 18.
29?
Yeah, don't follow your heart. The wicked man says to himself, "Peace will be with me, though I walk as my heart sees fit." I'm cool, man. I'm okay. You're okay. I'm okay. I don't have to keep the mitzvahs. I'm just going to do what I want. Hashem will not be willing to forgive him. I like that too. We live in this modern Oprah culture where forgive, everything can be forgiven.
Right.
Well, some things Hashem won't forgive, and even there are some things that maybe we don't even have to forgive. So I like that. I'm looking at the Art Scroll Chumash. The hidden sins are for Hashem. Chapter 29, verse 28. Lest Israel retort that it cannot be held responsible for sinners about whom it has no knowledge, Moses reassures the nation that hidden sins, the province of God alone, holds no one responsible but the sinners themselves. So you don't have to break into people's homes on Shabbat and make sure that they're keeping Shabbat perfectly. You don't have to follow people around and dig into their private lives to see if they're sinning. But everyone is obligated to safeguard the integrity of Israel against openly committed sins. It's a big difference in the way Judaism is practiced between the way the community responds to sins done openly out in public for the world to see, sins that are done privately. Chapter 30.
Which do you think are better?
I think there's a profound difference. A sin that's committed publicly is far more serious. It threatens certain sins in particular, threaten the holiness of the community.
Like what?
I'm out. I'm gay, and this is my husband here. I think that threatens the holiness of the community.